So I was wrong. And that's really hard to say, especially when it comes to something that you care about, a game. Because we don't like to be wrong. We don't like to feeling dumb. And we don't like that fear of actually looking dumb to others. And we kind of stop looking at ourselves as well, honestly and truly. And we forget that other people might not have the same opinions as us or the same skills as us. And World of Warcraft's been out for over 20 years. And it helped me with my dyslexia. And it made me feel social, even though my anxiety told me that I couldn't be social. So World of Warcraft really means a lot to me. It's more than a game to me. So can we have an honest conversation about just having fun with the game and not being mad when someone doesn't follow the meta, or when people can't even get into dungeons because their gear score isn't perfect? Because I can see how the meta culture, the suck culture, the elitist and gear score culture actually slowly are breaking down a game that I really adore and love, and I just want to spend a lot of time having fun in. So, when I started playing World of Warcraft, as I said, I was dyslexic, I still am, and I couldn't really read any spells or abilities and stuff like that. I didn't really know what to do with the quests. I just tried myself out. And people helped me as good as they could. And I met some people in real life that also played it. They helped me even more because we could speak the same language, which meant it was easier for me to understand. They translated for me at times. They taught me about FUTBot, how to look up stuff on the internet. And it was really, really great. And it was just like everyone was just accepting that all of us didn't know everything and all of us were still learning. And it's just weird to see then how the game actually changed. Because something shifted. And I don't know why. And I can't really point out when. But I do know that I've seen people being mad at other people for being the wrong spec because it wasn't the meta. I have seen raids being made where the gear score requirement during that raid were so high that there was no reason for you to be in that raid at all. Which is weird, because you should go into a place where you actually need stuff. It shouldn't just be something that you do and then require other people to be so well geared that nothing can go wrong. And I don't know, as I said, what happened, but it's like people fear failing in the game all of a sudden. Because when you begin to want a gear score that needs you to have the best gear in the game to go into a normal heroic dungeon, something is off. And it gatekeeps new people from actually gearing up and having fun at the end game content. Because what are you gonna do if you can't get into a dungeon because people won't let you gear up? You cannot get better gear so you can get into the dungeon. It's an evil circle that basically just means new people cannot get into the new content. And I know I have been yelled at many a times for, like, my priest is always holy, even when discipline priests are the meta. I just like holy better than discipline, so I've always just been holy priest. And people have been mad at me for it, but I still hold my own in the raids and the dungeons, healing people, not letting people die, sometimes saving the raid, stuff like that. And it's just weird. And that's how I feel on all my characters. I play what I find funny and not what the meta at the moment says is the best. And I do understand why people playing the game, just want to have the best and most fun time and use the time in a way where they feel their time is well spent. And I get that's where all the meta stuff comes in, and that elitist thingy will merge with it, because they then actually need to do something, and they don't have a lot of time as we had when we were kids playing this game. And I see their point of view, but I think the way that they might actually telling other people what to do at times can be wrong, because instead of being mad at people for not playing the right spec or having the right enchants, talents, whatever, talk to them about what makes the game fun for them and how they can improve their gameplay in a way where it doesn't seem like you are degrading them, but you are helping them. And that's a big difference, because if someone feels that you help them instead of making fun of them or degrade them, it will come through way better. And it's just crazy. And I do know that some specs are like the best spec at level 70, but maybe that's not the spec that people want to level with. Or maybe it has some kink, something you have to do that that person just don't like to do. So it's really just something we have to think about, that not everyone finds the same stuff funny. And not everyone actually enjoys, let's say, having to control a pet, but they just want to blast out massive spells, as a warlock, for example. Well, then don't force them to go into demonology if they don't find that having a massive buffed pet is fun. And the problem is, when you have this one group who is just hell-bent on everything has to be in order, you have to follow the meta, you have to have the right gear score, you have to do all this stuff, and they just keep telling other people that, it starts a lavine of everyone having to get a gear score add-on so they can see their gear score, because otherwise they won't get into dungeons or raids. And it's just a vicious circle, because then new people who get max level won't be able to enjoy anything because they're locked out from the start. I have even seen, and this is insane, I have seen people who wanted the heroic achievement for clearing the raid on heroic in the first week it was out, if you wanted to join a normal puck for that raid. Not heroic, but normal. So people wanted you to have cleared the raid in heroic the first week to just do a normal heroic, not heroic, but raid. It is crazy. Really, really crazy. And it's just so foreign for me. And this is why I would never, ever make something that follows the meta as that type of stuff, or that you have to have a certain skill to actually learn something, because that's not how I got into the game, and that's not how I want to be remembered for being in the game. I've always tried my best to help everyone, no matter what skill level they had. And if I couldn't help them because they were asking me something that I couldn't help them with, I always told them to go somewhere else, like find a guide on Wohead or stuff like that. Because there are people out there that knows a lot more than me about this game. Even though I played it for 20 years, I still feel like I have only scratched the surface at some stuff. And it's not because I'm dumb, and it's not because I haven't read up on my classes when I'm playing them. It's just because there's so much stuff you can actually do, combos, depth, in every class of the game. And I'm just not skilled enough. to make that type of depth in my guides. And I'm fine with that because that's never been my goal. I just want new people to come into the game and have an idea about the game. And telling them, just have fun with it. Play what you find fun. Not what everyone else is telling you to play. Because then it's not a game you will enjoy. Then it becomes a chore instead. It becomes something that you don't want to do. And why play something that you don't want to do? It just makes no sense. And I really just want to state that's how I feel. I've always felt that way. If you find anyone who is rated with me and ask me if I forced people to be a certain spec because it was the best, I would say no. I didn't even do it myself. Why should I force other people to do it? I always said, have fun with it. I could be realistic as well and saying we cannot clear this raid boss because we don't have enough damage. People, you have to begin to actually get some gear or you have to look up stuff. Otherwise, we won't proceed in this raid. And that's not me being elitist or anything. That's just me being able to do the math and seeing that with this DPS, we won't be able to kill this boss in time. And I don't know if I'm the only one who has it this way. I don't know if I'm the only one who just want to play the game to have fun, chill, to hang with my friends, do a dungeon now and again, maybe do a raid when I hit level 70. You know, just chill, have fun, and do it on my own terms because it's a game I play to relax and to have fun with. It's not a job for me. It used to be a job for me where I raided every day. I farmed every day for material for the raids. And not just for my own material, but for everyone's material. I have been in guilds where I have been the one who made all the raid food, all the raid potions, all the raid flasks. And I just did it because it was okay. I didn't get mad that people didn't do it like that. Because I knew other people might not have the time like I had. So I just did it. But in the end, it became a second job for me, and not just a game I played to have fun. So I do hope that you really see my point of view, that this game is made to have fun, from my point of view. And I do hope you have fun. And I hope that by having this discussion, we might be able to chip away of some of that elitist and meta culture that is right now, and gear score culture, but to say the least. And I really hope that if you've seen this video and you feel like, oh, this game has just been so painful, that you keep up your hope and try and be the best fun version of yourself. And that way you will slowly turn the game around. Because if there's enough of us, then we will win in the end. And I'm not saying that meta and elitist people are not welcome in the game. They are. They just should not think that everyone else is the same as them. Because we are not. We don't have the same skill levels. We don't have the same interest in the game. So don't bar other people from the game just because they don't have the same amount of time and the same amount of skills. I hope that you will like, comment, subscribe, and let me know what you all think about all this in the comments down below, because I really think that World of Warcraft is still a fantastic game, and it can still be fun, even though we played this version of the game so many years ago. And for me, it's the third time I play it, so I know what I do, I know what to get, but I still just do it to have fun. So let me know in the comments if you think I'm right or wrong, and let me know your take on all this meta, gear score, elitist culture thingy, so we can get a good discussion going. And be kind and not mean in the comments, please. Because being mean gets you nowhere. I hope you will have an amazing day. And I hope to see you in the next guide or live. Bye.